Hello and welcome back to Galactic Science Technical Tales. I have been quite busy since the last episode. The first thing I'll show you is this extension I've built up here. Ta-da! Doesn't look like much. It's a bit grey and boring, but my plan is that this stuff will be replaced by glass. I'd like to replace it with this stuff, clear glass, and enlightened clear glass is actually a light block, so this stuff is actually putting out light on its own. But I don't think I can make clear glass yet, because if I go for the recipe for clear glass, quite clear glass, or can I? Can I just put it in a chisel? No. If I put quite clear glass in a chisel, I get glass. No, I can get quite... I might be able to make it. I thought I needed the alloy smelter, which is basically sand. Because if I put sand in a normal smelter, I just get this type of glass, which is frankly not very good. I'm going to have to test that, and if it works, then I'm going to replace the dome of this with glass, so we'll be able to see the surface and see the lights and all that sort of stuff, and that'll be cool. Because I really don't want everything to just be buried down there. I want to expand my base here on the surface, where expanding and making it larger is easier, because I don't have to dig through tons and tons of rock, but also it's just going to look better. Forgive me if my voice is a bit... I'm still fighting this cold. Yay! The tree farm's still working. Managed to add a couple extra bits of dirt there. It's just feeding itself with wooden logs now. It just seems easiest. Basically, when it chops down the logs, it puts them in there and burns them, and but it keeps generating more and more stuff. So what else have I done? I have expanded this a bit. I put the filtering upgrade on this chest here, but as suspected, it doesn't work unless I've got sorting upgrades on those barrels. So there is actually a quest about making those, or making a sorting barrel, for which I'll get some sorting upgrades as a reward. So, might want to see about doing that soon. And the other thing I've done, this works quite well. So, I added more lava barrels here, all being fed from the cobblestone generator. Currently, I'm only sucking lava out of this one, because I need this liquid transfer node to actually remove lava from things, and that's quite expensive. It requires a block of redstone, and I think some iron, but it's not cheap. So I just wanted to get the very basic setup. So what it does, it sucks lava out and pumps it into these stone barrels. So this one's got 38% lava, 39.6% lava, 41.2, etc. Filling slowly, because there's only one of those things feeding it. But that's about the speed it's going to run at anyway, because I've got the same number of lava making crucibles as I do barrels down there. And what happens is when it fills up with the lava, because I've put water in here, it gets turned into obsidian. Now currently I'm only sucking obsidian out of this barrel here, which is why it's the only one that's still filling with lava. Again, because I need transfer nodes, which are expensive. So I'm sort of starting slow. Now what happens is once we get obsidian, it gets sucked out through this pipe into this chemical decomposer, which turns it into a chemical, silicon dioxide, I think, and magnesium oxide. Yeah, see, the magnesium oxide doesn't get used, but the silicon dioxide, well, it all gets sucked out, and the silicon dioxide gets used to make gravel, which is then sucked out into these things. Automatic sieves, which are just constantly running, sieving gravel. Gravel gives a lot more metal than moon rock does. iron. 20% chance. That's 20 times the amount of iron I was getting before. And I think the chances on all the other metals are higher as well. Diamonds are the same. So that's sort of going automatically. I've got a manual sieve here just running through moon turf at the moment because it's getting me redstone. I can make redstone in the chemical synthesis machine if I've got copper and iron. But for now, I'm just doing that. And I've made myself another chemical synthesis machine here, which at the moment I'm just sort of manually using to make this stuff, methyl methacrylate. Methyl methacrylate is a wonderful fuel. You can see that it burns for 180 RF per millibucket in a turbine generator, or 57,000 RF in something like this. I can stick it in any machine that burns, including just normal furnaces. I could even stick it in that machine over there if I wanted to. This is what I need to automate next, I think, is the production of this stuff. But in order to properly automate it, I either need more intelligent pipes, which will be able to, so I feed the stuff into this chemical decomposer, and then intelligent pipes will route it to the fuel station, or I need another chemical decomposer. And I'm definitely going to need 2 chemical synthesis machines because there's 2 steps to making this stuff. So let's actually take a look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to empty this out, because I just want to show you how good this stuff is. So, as an experiment, there is 1 log, and we'll see how much cobblestone 1 log can cook. One. It can do 1. Pretty rubbish, eh? Now, what happens if I take this log and I turn it into this stuff? Right, so I'm going to I've only got one chemical decomposer, so I'll throw it in there, but all the stuff will end up in that machine there, and then this won't actually do anything with it because this thing's waiting for silicon dioxide. So here is a log. Okay. This test isn't quite exact because I forgot that it's a percentage chance to give you stuff, isn't it? It's 50% chance to give you cellulose. So, well, 1 log made 1 stone. We knew, we know that. So if I get 8 logs. If I just burned 8 logs, it would turn 8 cobble into 8 stone. So obviously there is a slight percentage chance going on here. But there we go. So it's made cellulose. And I'm just going to grab the rest of the cellulose from that. And then I'm going to decompose the cellulose. You can see cellulose is made up of 6 carbon atoms, 10 hydrogen atoms, and 5 oxygen atoms. So again, I will throw that in. Okay, so I've grabbed, this is all the chemicals that was made from 8 logs. Quite a lot. So I'm going to go over here to my chemical synthesis machine, and first I need to throw in the carbon and the hydrogen. Right, so first I need this stuff. It's 1 carbon and 3 hydrogen. And this is the only stage of this recipe which uses the hydrogen, because I've worked out, what I get from one log, more or less, I think. I've not fully balanced it. But anyway, so 1 carbon, 3 hydrogen gets me methyl brackets ion. I don't know if any of you are a chemist out there who can tell me what exactly that means, but anyway, that makes methyl. And The second step of this recipe doesn't use any hydrogen. No, yes, and this version doesn't use much carbon, so I think I can just suck out as much of this methyl ion stuff as I can. So shift, click, boom. Let's clear that recipe. So now I've got methyl ion. And the recipe is 3 of these, 2 carbon, and 2 oxygen. So let me just pop the rest of the oxygen into the machine. And that makes methyl methacrylate, which if I, again, make as much of the stuff as I can. Okay, I only got 14 there. Yep, that's because I've run out of metal ion. And I've still got spare oxygen and carbon spare. So, 8 logs made 44 methyl crylate. So, back to this test. Remember, 1 log made 1 stone. See if we can actually visualize this a bit. Now, I processed 8 logs to get this stuff, so I should divide that by 8 in order to make it the equivalent of that, shouldn't I? So that's by 2. That's quarters, so half of that, 6.5, no, 5.5. It's a little annoying, but we'll just put the 5 in. So that way, we're erring on the side of conservatism. And let's see how many stones, the equivalent of 1 log, once I've turned it into methyl ethyl crylate, some stuff, can cook. Okay, okay. That one was half done. I don't think I've got the patience to wait for this. As far as I can tell, it's only burning 1 of these. 1 of these. And it's still... Look, I mean, this is how much of the fuel it's used. It's maybe a third of the way through 1 of these and it's done 12. So, yeah. Processing logs into methyl crylate is the way to get fuel. I just need a lot of iron in order to make a couple more chemical synthesis machines. Well, 1 more chemical synthesis machine and maybe 1 more chemical decomposer. And then I can set up a fuel station by the log farm. Yeah, this thing's just going to keep going. Maybe we'll come back to it. And again, I'll remind you, this was a single piece of methyl crylate. And then all I've been doing is coming over here, manually throwing stuff in there. And I've got more fuel than I know what to do with. I put a filing cabinet here to hold all the chemicals, because it holds them in alphabetical order and it can get more than a stack in a single place. So I've got a load of methyl crylate there, a load of sucrose there. So this thing's working relatively well. I don't know if I can show you. Is it still daytime? Yeah, that was the automatic killing machine. Oh, running around in circles. Where's the sun? I'm hoping it's noon, so it's safe to go outside. Yes, I've got a diamond sword. I got that as a reward for a quest. So I realised that the automatic killing machine wasn't really doing much because during the day I wasn't getting any mob spawns, and at night the mobs are all spread out. So I've made a little dark room here, and this is the size of the area that this thing attacks in. I think it's got a range of 27 at the moment, so that's 5 by 5, so I've got 25 space. I can always expand it to be larger, and again, we'll try and make it look a bit better than just cobble once we've got better materials. The other thing I got as a reward for one of the quests that I did between episodes was I got an extra sun, which seems to hold a lot more. Like, this is the sun I started with. 25 million RF, remaining 17.3. That's a brown dwarf. This is a red dwarf and it has 200 million RF. So I'm definitely thinking about moving this somewhere where the gravity isn't going to keep annoying me, and hooking it up, to my main power infrastructure. But I'll probably wait until I'm expanding my base onto the surface. So let's take a look at the book, and I'll show you some of the quests I did. I tried not to claim the rewards except when I had to. So, whole new moon. Unclaimed rewards. Completed. Oh yeah, okay, that's just this one. If you remember, there were a couple of trees on the surface. I made some shears, and I grabbed all the leaf blocks from them, so we could do this one here. There was a page in your father's book which had a note hanging out of it. You open to this page and there's notes on some way to breathe better. So basically I just needed 64 oak leaves and it gets me 5 melons. Now when it's talking about being able to breathe better, this oxygen collector, it's collecting 16 per second. And that's because I suspect there are 16 leaf blocks nearby. If I grab some of these and let's just sort of try and fill in the gaps. So that added quite a lot more leaves around that. This thing's now collecting 42 per second. So that's why you want extra leaf blocks. Now I don't know whether those leaf blocks will decay. According to the wiki, there's an option in the Galactic Craft mod pack which says leaf blocks can either decay when you're using them to extract oxygen, or they cannot. Not sure what it's set to in this pack, so I suppose we will find out. Put those back. 5 melon seeds might be useful. This thing's still going? Okay, 29. So the equivalent of one log. No, that was like a fifth of a log. A fifth of a log made 29 stone. I'll leave someone out there to do the maths because I may have gone wrong somewhere along the way. Wow. Lots of metal. Another 13 iron. Iron is the thing I'm hurting for the most at the moment because I used it all to make that thing. Back to the quests. Getting a lava bucket. I remember doing that one. Transfer nodes. Yes, I did that one. That got me the chemical decomposer. We could try and do fueling up. A filled oil canister. All the fuel was used up on the way here, and the reserves your father have are all spoiled. You remember that on Earth, oil was made by compressing wood, and a lot of time. Too long didn't read, put logs into a crucible, get oil out with the canister. For this task you need to put wood in a crucible. Filled oil canister. Press the wrong button. Yeah, it does need to be fuel, so my thinking with this... No, it needs to be oil, so... Fuel bucket? Hang on, I'm just trying to... Oil canister. Yeah, it's a filled oil canister, so the rocket fuel bucket doesn't help here. But I can grab a crucible quite easily. Most of these are not actually in use properly at the moment. It's going to need a heat source. I need a crucible that's not going to fill up with cobble. Do I have any spare transfer pipe? Two. That's not going to do it. I was thinking I could bridge over the top of one of these. Well, let's just do this temporarily. I'm going to break this because I want to get rid of the lava that's in it. I could use a bucket. I do have a bucket. Okay. Not completely empty, so I will break it now. Good. Grab that. One crucible. It said fill it with logs. Right, while that's cooking... Now, smelting. Pure awesomite. How awesome does that sound? Would be handy if it had some awesome use to go with it. Maybe putting a block of it under my crucible would help. Now, if I put a block of this under the crucible, it's going to melt stuff a lot faster. Now, to make it, you need a pure awesomite ingot, which comes from awesomite dust. So, to get a block, you need 9. So to get 6, I need a diamond and some flint, and then gold, iron, and redstone. So these things are a bit expensive, so I'm probably going to hold off on this one until I'm swimming in resources a little better. But I don't want to hold off for too long because, I mean, this thing's got a melt speed of ×2. Awesomite, I think, is like a melt speed of ×8, or something ludicrously fast like that. I'm getting some gold, but not much. Like, I've got 2 bars up there that I've processed. And there's like another 1 in there. But you can see I don't really have the gold to spare right now. Do I have enough oil to pick up yet? No, it probably needs to be a bucket's worth. And once I do those 2, I'll have completely finished the whole new moon, which is cool. Right, let's hand in the quests. I'm getting distracted again. I meant to be showing you what I've done while I was away, not doing fresh stuff. Right. Right, so yes, I made the baby don't hurt me mob filter for the mob farm thing, so it doesn't so if I'm up there, it doesn't hit me. And that's where I got the diamond sword from, and that's where I chose that star. I automated the farm up there. I did that some time ago, didn't I? Seem to have forgotten to collect the rewards on it. Iron hoe and some wheat might come in handy a bit later. So let's just squirrel these away for now. And of course the serial killer, which is that automatic mob killing machine. Wooden sword, 5 wooden upgrades. 5 wooden upgrades aren't that interesting, but I can turn them into stone upgrades cheaply enough. Add a bit more stone. And I can throw that into the tree farm if I want to make it bigger, or probably the crop farm. At some point I want a proper crop farm out on the surface, and that's going to want to be a lot bigger. I'm going to have to automate... Well, I'm going to have to upgrade those things to the iron versions, because that way the axes will last longer. But I definitely need to automate the creation of the axes and so on. Anything else here that I did? Yes, I made the liquid mover because I needed to move the lava from there down to there. Transfer nodes are all fun and games for moving items, but what about fluids? Right, and that gets me some speed upgrades. The speed upgrades are going to be useful once those things are melting quicker, because the pipes might not be able to keep up with it. We're going to get to this. Location, location, location. I think that might be what we concentrate on today. Possibly stop hammer time. But quests with unclaimed rewards. Yes. So I did this one, which was basically breaking down a load of different stuff to get a load of chemicals, because that's what got me the chemical synthesizer. And once I've got the chemical synthesizer, this one automatically fulfills. I can get lead or silver as a reward. What am I getting the least of? They seem equally uncommon, don't they? Silver is a 2% chance. Lead is a 3% chance. I should get silver. There we go. And I'll throw them into my chemical. It's not. See, there is a limit. It's not letting me add the gold and the silver. AU and AG. I don't know why it's not letting me add them. There's plenty of room here. I've already got 127 gold in there. There must be limits to how much a filing cabinet can store. I'm going to have to find a better storage solution for my chemicals, I think. I don't just want to add a second filing cabinet. Well, we'll think about that.